Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for being here. As always, today we have Adrian from DEADPXLZ, an awesome NFT project in the Cardano space. So we're going to be talking all about that today, as well as just specifics about the NFT space in Cardano. So thanks so much for being here, Adrian.
Well, thank you for having me. I was telling you earlier that this has been like a low-key goal of mine to be on your show. Been watching you for a while now, so thank you for that.
Yeah.
And yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so my name is Adrian. I am the creator of DEADPXLZ. DEADPXLZ is the first interactive NFT collectible project on the Cardano blockchain. I built the whole thing myself, everything from top to bottom,
Nice.
Including the art, moving up to the website, the minting, the drops. I do my own, social media and stuff like that. I run my own Discord server. Naturally, the community has been booming. At least, the past month, it has been like crazy.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of, hardcore fans who are part of that community. And by the way, I just like to take the chance and give a shout out to those guys. They're really cool guys, and I couldn't have done it without you. And it's been quite the journey, so far. So basically, in a nutshell, what I did was get this experience of mine of web development that I've been doing for like, I don't know, 15 years now, and put it into this NFT project, which actually the idea for DEADPXLZ didn't come right when I started the project itself. It's been something that has been sitting with me for like many years now. It's been my own personal brand and my portfolio's brand and so on and so forth for a while now, but I didn't really get to do like something super something that is deserving of this brand. And then at the beginning of 2021, Cardano came along. Actually, me finding out about Cardano came along, and I was convinced that this is the way to actually put the brand into to work, and created this really cool interactive NFTs, which were actually not very well understood in the beginning, because people
Yeah.
were like used to the static art and so on. Not that it's it's worse or something, or the interactive is better or anything like that. It's just different. And what I try to do with the project is not only use technology for the sake of using different technology, but also bring some type of utility to the NFT itself. And if you look at any of the DEADPXLZ, there's 10,000 of them, by the way, unique. You'll see that besides interacting with them, like you tap on them and then change moods and they jump around, if you double tap, you're going to get the rarity of that NFT, which is embedded within the actual thing, which is pretty cool, because someone that's saying at that point, this is a very good way to show somebody what an NFT actually is. You just put it on your phone, you show them, look, this is the rarity and so on. You don't need to go to your wallet, you don't need to go to a third-party website, so on and so forth. So I guess I took that and put it into this, and here we are. Basically, in a nutshell, that's the story. Short story, long story short.
That's an awesome intro, man. I mean,
Yeah.
what I think I gathered from that immediately is this is a great example of how NFTs are enabling creators to implement cool ideas that they've had that maybe weren't totally possible, or maybe just weren't as well optimized as they could be as a medium of creation as they are for NFTs, right? So coming full circle with your brand.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, it's been, if the past year has taught me anything, is the fact that things happen when they need to happen, regardless. And I'm not going to go into the esoteric aspect of it all, but I was skeptical at the beginning, but it sort of I kind of became a believer after joining the space. And not to mention that coming from the I have like a very heavy web background, and I know a lot of people, and I know the communities, and I know that there's a lot of creators who actually haven't entered the space, and there's a lot of artists who actually do like these crazy animations on canvas and so on and so forth, that could actually be they're ripe for putting into an NFT. And I guess the space hasn't been that open to them, naturally, because of the fact that not many people know about it still.
Hmm.
Also, the fact that it's crazy hard to kickstart an NFT on other blockchains like the mainstream blockchains and so on, like Ethereum.
Hmm.
And I guess this sort of brings us to the Cardano blockchain discussion. But
Yeah.
maybe we can save that for later, or we can go into it now if you want.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a perfect direction to go in. I think my first question for you would be what drove you? It can be technical, it can be sort of strategic or
Right.
business side of things, or both. But what drove you to choose Cardano as the platform for Dead Pixels?
Okay, so I guess everybody or most people get into Cardano after seeing a video of Charles, right?
Right.
That specific video of Charles that everybody knows about, and they sort of become fascinated by his character and charisma, and the conviction that he talks about Cardano, that you kind of it kind of sells you on the entire thing.
Hmm.
Naturally, after watching that, most people just stop there and they're like, okay, I'm going to invest in this because this guy is great. Well, I wouldn't recommend this to
Yeah, wouldn't recommend
to
that
people
approach.
generally. I would recommend do your own research always. And after seeing these clips of Charles and so on, I actually got into, because I'm a technical guy, I have
Hmm.
technical background, done tons of programming, and I understand, at least at that time, early 2021, I understood blockchain technology, at least the 101s, at a 101 level. And I got into reading his papers and so on, and it was like fascinating for me to say the least. Seeing the extended UTXO model, which is basically similar to Bitcoin's, but
Hmm.
much better, much applicable in the real world. It brings so many layers to the technology. And then I got into trying to research how much time would it take for me to actually deploy NFTs on this blockchain. Is it possible? Can we do it? And so on. And at that time it wasn't, because there was no native token on Cardano.
Hmm.
Native tokens launched on Cardano, I think. Actually, I think it was March 1st, 2021. And when I got into it, it was earlier than that. So there were talks in the community and on GitHub about compiling a metadata for a specific type of token, which is the NFT,
Hmm.
which came to fruition some months after that. It actually got accepted into the IOHK repository. But they were early times. And what attracted me, one of the things that attracted me the most was the fact that it was so easy and so accessible for creators to come in and make their own NFTs, because there's literally very, very low costs into kickstarting a collection. Even a
Hmm.
10,000 piece collection on Cardano, in order to mint it and to store it inside several UTXOs, it cost me, I think around 160 ADA at the time,
Hmm.
which was I don't know, I think $150, the equivalent of
Yeah.
$150, which is insane. On Ethereum, it would have cost you like I don't know, a kidney or something.
At
So
least.
so I think this brings a lot of more accessibility to onboarding creators and NFT creators into the space. Also, the fact that Cardano didn't actually need smart contracts for an NFT
Hmm.
to be feasible on their blockchain, because NFTs are native tokens, so as people like to call them, they're first-class citizens of the blockchain.
Hmm.
So they somehow coexist with the actual ADA that you have. And yeah, it's definitely a selling point for anybody who wants to get into the space. And I encourage people to check it out, because the community is very welcoming, to
Hmm.
say the least. And there's tons of opportunity, and we've seen a lot of growth as an NFT community during the past months, definitely. So all arrivals welcome in the NFT space on Cardano.
Yeah, if you're a creator, I mean, it's a great opportunity to bootstrap in an up and coming environment, right? Where the community is solid, but the ecosystem is growing. And I wanted to sort of tie back to one thing that you mentioned, right? And that's the mechanics of NFTs on Cardano, which is that they are treated as if effectively they are ADA, right? They are native to the network, and they are transacted that way without smart contracts, as an extra layer where something might go wrong, or just an extra amount of computation, if you will. That being said, for a project like yours, where you have interactivity built in, you have multiple layers of attribute, how did you approach that from optimizing your NFT, right? I want you to explain to people maybe what goes into building something like what you built in terms of what goes on chain. Very important.
Okay, so basically, whenever you mint it, we were talking about the standard earlier, by the way. So
Yeah.
the standard, the metadata standard, which is people mostly know from Ethereum, which is the ERC-721 standard. Cardano also has a similar thing, right? Where you have like this accepted by everyone, the structure which is accepted by everyone, also merged into the IRHK official repository of community proposals. So that's very cool. So it's the de facto de facto standard to use when minting NFTs. So basically, just to explain to everybody who's like a non-technical person, when you mint an NFT, you basically create a tie between some asset that is outside of the blockchain or inside of the blockchain completely, because there's fully on-chain NFTs on Cardano as well, and this token that you're actually minting. And the tie between these two is basically the metadata that I mentioned earlier, which specifies the token name, the token unique identifier, which is called the policy ID on Cardano. So basically, it assures the owner that that token is unique and it cannot be reproduced by anyone else, and so on and so forth. And then you add everything else that is related to that specific token. For pixels, for example, there's like quite low metadata in terms of the kilobytes structure of the whole thing, because there's not much to say, because the attributes themselves are also present in the metadata naturally, and the types. And other than that, links to whatever IPFS or third-party decentralized storage you'd need in order to run the whole thing. And that's it. Basically, you can go onto the blockchain and just access your NFT from there if you're a technical person, or if not, you can use many of the tools I actually have on my website, which is pixels.org. I guess you're probably going to add it in the description of this video.
I will.
You have like a very cool helper tool set right there, where you can actually explore the entire collection. You can see aftermarket listings. They actually redirect you to the aftermarket, and you can actually buy them from the aftermarket if you wish. And you can basically explore the entire collection. You can view your own wallet. So you just type in your address and it loads your pixels that you own in that specific wallet. You can interact with them over there, and so on and so forth. And there's tons of other ways to actually view them, like explorers and so on and so forth in Cardano. So basically, yeah, that's all in a nutshell, I guess. In terms of the technical side, I think I was very optimal when minting, because I actually minted 50 tokens per transaction. So that's 50 NFTs minted in one single transaction, which is like insane, because of the size restraints, I couldn't do more. But it's very cool to see that there's actually a blockchain which allows you to do that with like very low fees. I think it was like 0.8 ADA per transaction to mint, plus the necessary ADA that you need to store alongside those tokens in order for them to exist, which is like around 5 or something like that. But anyways, you can potentially bootstrap a 10,000 item NFT project on the Cardano blockchain with, I don't know, a few thousand ADA, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean, it still seems like a lot to some people, but in reality, if your project is high quality and you imagine that there will be even some modicum of demand for those NFTs, then your costs will be adequately covered by the inevitable first party and secondary sales as well. And it's really, I guess philosophically now, the way that I look at it is what's missing from the Cardano NFT ecosystem in general that really needs to be there is two things. I think a really functional in terms of its applied use smart contracts to perform different functions, escrows, potentially connectors between off-chain games and things like that with NFTs, which will need smart contracts, and then subsequently marketplaces, right? There are some, secondary marketplaces that are off the chain, but I think having some on chain is really important.
Well, it's funny you should mention this. So you mentioned two things, right? You mentioned smart contract based marketplace, and you also mentioned some smart contract based gaming.
Yeah.
So two last things. I know we're reaching the end of our time. So
no
first of all, regarding the marketplace, it's just been announced like a couple of days ago. The developer of SpaceBuds, who's a very cool guy. We talk a lot. He just launched a smart contract based marketplace for SpaceBuds. So you can actually go interact with that and interact with smart contracts on Cardano right now in a marketplace environment, which is very, very cool. And it's all open source, by the way. So anybody who wants to implement their own smart contract based marketplace can just, improvise on what's already there, which is very, very cool. I think it's a huge step ahead for the ecosystem. And secondly, because I want to show my own self as well in the project. And, I am an investor in my own project, as are like many, many users. I think as of now, there's like 1.7K wallets, which hold pixels or something like that, which is very cool. You're talking about a game, and I want to talk a bit about the future of the project, because DEADPXLZ has already been sold out. So the entire 10K collection has already been distributed to users. There's none available except on the aftermarket. And I want to share something about the future of the project as well. There's also a white paper, by the way. If you go to the website to pixels.org, you're going to see a white paper. There's a huge button which says white paper on it. I recommend to everyone who wants to go and have a read. It's a lengthy document. It's like 24 pages, but it's an in-depth view of the future of the project and the present and the past as well. But mostly, people are interested in roadmaps and when and stuff like that. So there's that. And just to roughly cover it up, it's basically that the future of this project is going to mean two things. It's going to mean the PXLForge and the Pixel Wars. The PXLForge is basically a shop, which basically enables users to go and forge their own pixels and customize them and choose any attribute they want from the available 69 attributes that are found in the Genesis collection and the 10K collection. And once they do that, they pay with ADA. An NFT gets minted for them with those very same attributes that they chose. And the proceeds from those attributes that they paid for with ADA are going to be split among the holders of the pixels from the Genesis collection, which share those attributes. So that is a sort of a passive income right there for holding pixels. And secondly, once you have forged these pixels, you can take them, level them up, and participate in the Pixel Wars with them, which is basically going to be a play-to-earn PvP competitive experience game. Think, I don't know, Axie Infinity, for example, but, not 100% copy of that. I like to, do my own stuff, but, in order for people to understand what I'm talking about. Yeah, similar. And basically that's the future of the project. And the PXLForge and Pixel Wars Alpha, which is like a alpha version of the game, will be launched at the latest around, I think, Q1 2022. Afterwards, the Pixel Wars Golden version will be launched hopefully by the middle of 2022. So that's basically the future of the project, and the thing that I will be working on ceaselessly until completion for the foreseeable future.
I can imagine. That's a lot of stuff to build and to optimize, right?
Indeed.
And to test adequately before launch. But yeah, no, I think that's really powerful, right? When you look at what makes an NFT successful beyond the baseline sort of artistic value, whether you enjoy looking at it, whether you like it from a collectible perspective, utility goes that next step and that next layer deeper. So here, as a passive income mechanism for the Genesis holders, as well as a gamified experience for people that want to play the game later on. Really excited for the future here, and consider me a big supporter of the project. As soon as I read about this originally, I was like, yeah, this is really cool. So thanks to everybody who put it on my radar, because there's a lot flying across Twitter for me. So it's good to have people helping me find cool stuff.
Yeah, well, thankfully there's like tons of hardcore Pixel fans out there, and again, shout out to them. They definitely like to show the project on Twitter.
Yeah,
but yeah, I haven't paid anything to anyone for promotion by now, by the way. So it's all been quite a nice organic growth in the community, and it shows. It's a very, very solid community around the project, which is built on strong fundamentals. And I think that has shown in the project's success and so on. I think it's like number 9 or number 8 all-time volume NFT on Cardano. Mm-hmm. Which is very cool. I'm not, big on the numbers necessarily, but it's some sort of recognition, and it definitely helps out, especially the early investors who actually minted pixels for like, I don't know, the first mint of pixels was like 25 ADA, and now I think the floor is around 500 ADA or something like that. So not bad.
Not bad in the slightest, right? And so, I mean, for anyone that's watching there are probably going to be plenty of people watching that are Pixels owners, and welcome. Thank you for being here. There's probably plenty of people who are in the Cardano space that have never heard of this, so please go check it out. I will leave links down in the description below for you to go look through this stuff. The FAQ is fantastic on the website, gives a lot of cool stuff, lets you get kind of hands-on to see what it's all about. The white paper is a good place to dive deeper. And if you have specific questions that we didn't get to, or that don't make sense on the website, whatever it is, please leave them in the comments below. I'll make sure Adrian gets to see them, and then we'll get maybe like a Q&A on Twitter or something going. But Adrian,
that'd be great.
Thanks so much for being here, man. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. It's really an honor to be here on Hashoshi. Thanks,
awesome,
dude.
Man. Yeah, absolutely. It's been an honor to have you. Thank you so much. And to everyone who's watching, thank you as well. Have a fantastic rest of your week. And until next time, cheers.